Jason, you're playing the new, whatever, and I saw a picture of you playing this guitar. I was like,
yeah, it's a beast. It's a real pretty beast.
Actually, there's a picture of Brownie playing one of their basses, and a picture of you playing this guitar.
Yeah, right. Really great guys. I mean, they approached us last year with, and I know Barbara from Disco Biscuits is playing Becker guitars also.
Okay.
So he's been kind of spearheading some people and like, check it out, make you a guitar as long as you play it. And we'll put a lot of love into it. I'm like, yeah, let's try it. So it was cool. We went to his workshop in Attleboro. It's right outside of Providence, Rhode Island. And we get there. Yeah, we went to Wendy's first, got some Frosties, nice, big spicy chicken, and it was cool. And then we walked into and they were both just hanging up because Bayless got one and I got one. They were both just hanging like, saying, so it was cool to go to the actual workshop and see where all the stations were. This is where they do the painting. This is where they construct the neck. This is where they do the electronics. This is where they make the pick guard. And only 2 guys make the whole guitar. So they put about 400 hours just into this one guitar.
Wow.
And Bayless have the same finish?
What's that?
Bayless have the same finish? No?
Oh, yeah, it's a totally different guitar.
Actually, it's probably a lot of the first one Barbara played.
Yeah, it's a different shape. It's got this crazy, like, extended
space.
Oh, really? With the big.
Yeah.
You play a lot or not?
He's played once or twice, I think.
I play whenever they come out with shows.
Yeah. Well, because his hands totally adapted to that. Yeah. It's kind of like, it's like you feel weird, like you're cheating on your wife or something.
They actually gave me that guitar, and I got this one Saturday before, was it Thursday? So I got 2 guitars in 1 week. Yeah. And I played this once, and I fell in love with it. And then the next show, they gave it to Becker. And they came the next 3 shows, and I had to play with Becker. And the whole time I was staring at this across the stage.
And like really at the end of the day, it's probably best that we don't play, the same type of guitar because they're going to be a little more similar. So we try to find I tend to go for a little bit more of a pick attack kind of tone, and Bayless is a little more like a warmer chordal type tone. So it complements each other. We try to go there with the 2 sounds.
Yeah, I mean Chuck and I deal with that stuff all the time. We're sort of dancing around each other tonally, and so if he's playing, a Les Paul type of guitar, which is McIntyre is these days, more or less, then I'm going to go for more of a Fender type of guitar these days, and, right, and so sometimes it works if we're playing something together, and other times, we want to play something that's contrasting more than complementing each other, and it's the same thing with our amp tones too, he might go with something more American, like a Fender type of thing. His Black Bruno that he plays through, has 6V6s, or 6L6s in it, so it's more of a tweed twin, whereas the amps that I play through the old fields are like British amps. They're like Vox AC30s or Marshall Blues Breakers. So, even like our speakers, again, we're going for different things with our speakers and everything, so it's like, it's really interesting when you sit in a room by yourself. Like, I could sit here and find, like, the best full-range guitar tone that you think would be great. Yeah. So it's got, like, this punchy bottom end and this great mid-range, just the right amount of highs, and you think it's like this great full-spectrum sound. I used to do this when I was playing through my high-watt all the time. It was a 412 high-watt. It's the same. It was actually Steve Hackett's head and Ray Davies' cabinet that I had, and it was just totally random that I ended up with these pieces. I wasn't like going after celebrity gear or anything, but it's the same half stack that like Gilmore uses or Keith Townsend uses. Yeah, that same high watt 100-watt half stack, and they sound amazing. They sound like roaring the gods. It's just clean and big and chimey, and the thing is, you can get these amazing sounds out of it, but unless everything's dimed and you're louder than the rest of your band, like it almost doesn't fit into the mix because the bass player is going to cover the lows, cymbals kind of cover the highs, the other guitar player is going to be playing in the mids and some of the highs and some of the lows, and then it's like, okay, but then we have a percussionist who's also playing vibes and marimbas and other dingy things, and it's like, okay, so where's my place in the mix? So you're almost better off, like in my case, finding like banjo-like frequencies back and listen to, you know, the first Zeppelin album, for example, you know, and everybody thinks, oh, Jimmy Page, you know, Les Paul, Marshall, you know, whatever. It's a Telecaster through a Supro amp, you know, and it's a tiny little guitar sound, but it sounds amazing because he's the only guy filling up that space in the mix, you know, the bass is here, you know, the drums are here and here, and then, you know, it's guitar right in the middle, and it's like all guitar, and it's, you know,
in the studio, we generally never use big amps. I got a collection of old Harmony amps and old Silvertone amps at home that I use in my studio, and these things sound awesome. You just turn them on 10 and put like a ribbon mic in front of it, a 57 in phase, and then maybe a room mic, and these things just roar. I mean, it's almost better to have a little 3-watt amp on 10 than a Marshall halfway on. It just it growls. It sounds like Keith Richards in a box, you know.
Frank Zappa was famous for recording with a pig nose amp all the time. Most of his lead tones came through a pig nose. That's what he got. Something like that. That was great.
He would do weird stuff too, like put the pig nose facing the floor on 10 and then a condenser mic above it. So it kind of gives a sound, you know. It sounds like, you know, you got a pillow over the amp.
So